Okay, I think we're getting going right on time. We are broadcasting from an airport, so we need to try to keep it on time. Good evening, everyone. I see a lot of people are joining as we speak. So, good evening from Israel, the most southern and the newest airport in Israel. You could see a live feed that is shared with you as well. Thank you, Ortal, for doing that. We have our entire team here that I want to thank. We have Ortal with the live feed of Ramon Airport. We have Sharon, who's helping us with technical support. We have Ella, who's managing everything in the background. We have Eric here that makes sure everything is ticking. And my name is Or. I am head of ventures in Arieli Capital. And welcome to the third Onboard travel tech program to grow the world's leading technology companies for the travel industry. This is super exciting for us today. We have a lot of surprises coming up and a lot of amazing guests that are going to talk and explain to an audience from around the world what are the trends in the travel, what's coming up, how do we deal with COVID, and what technologies can we expect to arrive and change the world and help us travel lighter, faster, cheaper, better. So at the end, everything is possible thanks to amazing people. And I want to thank just several amazing people that are going to be with us today. First of all, we have Evantia from Amadeus, who's going to speak after me, our amazing partners that help us bring this event to life. After that, we have Natalia from UNWTO, who's going to provide the keynote. We have Evan, the CEO of Arieli Capital. We have Raquel from Amadeus. We have Dr. Isaac from Booking.com. We have Mr. Amer from Etihad Airways from UAE. And if we're talking about excitement, this is, I think, one of the first, if not the first, innovation program bringing together Israeli corporations and UAE corporations. They're working together to build technology companies and launch them to the world. This is history in the making. So we're super excited about that. Thank you, Mr. Amer, for joining us. We have Nicole from the Mirage Fund. We have Granit from Israel Hotels Association. We have Michael from Israel Airports Authority, who are also the hosts of tonight's event. We have Miri from Cockpit. We have Javier from Gremi de Hotel de Barcelona. After our amazing panel will speak, we will have a startup stage. These are 4 selected startups from many startups from around the world. Over 10 countries have applied, and we chose 4 startups that will present 2 minutes presentations for you. You will hear cutting edge technologies for travel, and our distinguished panel will be the judges and select the winning startup. The winning startup from today's pitch event will get entrance to the Onboard Scale-Up program, which will start the first quarter of 2021 and help these amazing companies connect to the leading industry brands and grow their technologies. So without further ado, I would like to provide the stage to Evantia from Amadeus to say a couple of words. Evantia, the stage is yours.
Hi, thank you, Or. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm really looking forward to this event and to this amazing panel, Or, that you managed to get together today. And before getting to explain why Amadeus has decided to support, the Onboard Scale Up program, I like all your introduction was a bit disruptive, starting the presentations with thank you. So I think, we're living in a completely disrupted world. So I will go the same way. I will start by thanking you, right? Or thanking you and your team for the energy that you put behind this event, and for the energy and the expertise that you are going to provide for this Onboard Scale program. And you convinced us to join, and probably I will just to keep, I would like to say thank you everyone for taking the time and to participate. I'm sure that we will, I mean, at least myself, I look forward to hear this amazing panel telling us a bit more what are the trends and how these things are going to reshape the travel today. But before getting maybe to set the scene, I would like also to thank some people from our side, and especially to Guy, because I think with his motivation, we will, you know, we will never probably get all these things done so quickly. And Raquel, that you will see in the panel afterwards. So why we want and we support this program? Because at Amadeus, we are convinced of the importance that the startup have in the travel ecosystem. And we are also convinced about the fact that the mentoring and the experts that are around accelerators and incubators are absolutely mandatory for entrepreneurs to create the proper environment and mentoring to help them scale and grow quicker. And on the other side, events like the one we have today are very important because they provide startups, but also scale-ups, a stage to talk to you, industry experts, a stage to network to other entrepreneurs and find partnerships. So if you would allow me, I would like just maybe, because we are in a webinar, to share one slide. I hope everyone is managing to see my slides. I would like to say two words, because I'm sure that the panel will unveil a lot of more details about the trends that are generated by this unprecedented situation that our sector is facing. And we are convinced that the only way forward, the only way that we will get the world to travel again, will be by working all together. Probably these three areas, I would say, are the first one and the main one to tackle. Trust. How do we rebuild trust in travel? How do we provide trust to the traveler? So on one side, I think companies in the travel industry, they will need to collect more passenger information in order for tracking purposes, but also for health purposes. But they also need to be provided with real-time data about how the virus is expanding, but also about border limitation. And at the opposite, the traveler needs to be reassured by having information and flexibility, but also with a support in case of health disruptions. And we have seen that for a while, but this is a trend that is consolidating with the pandemic. The customer support, it is the new marketing. But once we have built the trust, we also need to look at how the technology can enable our industry to build a frictionless travel. And I think the main technology would be a scalable, cloud-enabled technology that can provide companies in travel to bring up new functionalities without losing time and reworking the legacies technologies behind. And technologies, data-driven, artificial intelligence technologies, but technologies that will provide touchless, biometrics, all these can provide the right solutions for the travel industry to reassure the traveler. And I would see maybe two other topics related to technology that I found interesting is the rise of virtual technology, but also the revival of like old technology that get hip again, like the QR code, right? And I think there is one startup or that has some technology that includes the QR code. So we have the trust, we need to work on the trust of the traveler, and we have the technology that can enable the change. But how we as an industry players can now not only work on recovering the traveler again, but also to renew and to get a better one that we used to have. And things are built around sustainability again, but also new business models that are coming around that will help us pursuing this goal. So once said that, we are at this event to talk about startups, right? And I would like just to say that we are convinced that technology and innovation are really the enablers. So therefore, young entrepreneurs, scale-ups and startups are the ones who play a very important role in this area. And we are really thinking that they will provide probably one of the main new businesses that will recreate the travel ecosystem. So coming back to the introduction where we said why we wanted to partner with these initiatives with Ariel Capital, well, I think because in Amadeus we have a long way of supporting startups. And let me tell you just a bit about the new entry we have created for the ones that probably, don't know us yet. Amadeus for Startups. Amadeus for Startups is based on 4 pillars. On one hand, we have our corporate fund, Amadeus Ventures, who is looking at early stage startups at the crossroad of technology and travel. And they will get not only fund, but also they will get the support of the experts and the network of the company. On another pillar, a very different one, we have Amadeus for Developers, and they are focused on providing a platform of open APIs for innovators and young startups to play around and create their MVPs and try to build new services that will respond to the traveler needs. When we look at more mature startups, Amadeus Next Wave, it's our internal business incubator that could partner with some of those startups to kind of create the next generation of technology and of businesses for travel. And last but not least, Amadeus Startup Launchpad is a unique program dedicated to travel startups, which provides a gateway to our technology, experts, but also open up our mentoring and helping them to grow and scale and go to market quicker. That said, you probably understand better our motivation to work with you today. And I will say for me, this would be the 2 parts that I'm really looking forward to seeing this event, right? The panel now, which I would think will expand on all these trends. And I'm really interested to find out how from each perspective, looking at the trends and all the things that is happening into business, what will be the impact, but also on the traveler new behavior. And to finish, right, we have 4 startups that we're going to pitch. So thank you again for inviting us. This is it from my side. And giving back to you, all right, to introduce the panel. Thank you very much, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Evantia. And you're truly a great partner for this event. And I think that Amadeus is a major player in the ecosystem and definitely adds a lot of value. So without further ado, I would like to invite our keynote, Natalia from UNWTO, to provide her. Hi, Natalia, how are you?
My pleasure to be here
provide
with you,
their input.
And with all the people from the different regions, of course.
The stage is yours, Natalia.
Okay, perfect. So it's my pleasure to have a lot of women here with me. That's very difficult when you're talking about innovation and investment. So I think that that's amazing to have some of the colleagues and of course our clever gentlemen that are here rocking the scenario and connecting the Middle East with Israel. So of course, as you know, the UNWTO is leading all related to innovation, digital transformation, and of course, the investment strategy to foster a more sustainable tourism. And of course, where we were in the past, I have to say that, of course, in the past, we were more than well, more than 1.5 billion tourists were coming. Then we have an international growth, about 4%. We were the leading services sector in the world, the top employer of women and youth. So that sounds, of course, amazing. And after COVID-19, I have to say that, of course, for good or for bad, it has challenged us to recover the sector and to be the most hurt economic sector. So this is a golden opportunity today. Of course, we have been hurt. Of course, there are a lot of challenges, but I think the most important thing today is that we have the opportunity to use technology and use innovation as a key driver for a more sustainable model and to help to open different opportunities through the regions. I have to say that I am really pleased to be today because I'm Colombian, but I am Israeli and Arab by heart. Why? Because of course, Israel is the place where innovation was created, but the Middle East is in my heart as well, because you know that Latin America is full of Lebanese and Arab influence. So to have you together today, it's an honor, and it's amazing to see how innovation doesn't have any boundaries. So it doesn't matter where you are, you find talent everywhere and talented minds that want, of course, to help. It doesn't matter where we are. So, of course, why innovation and sustainability has to be our new normal. That is the keynote of today. First of all, I don't know if you know, but if we want to reach the Sustainable Development Goals, there are more than 140 billion US dollars that are needed if we want to reach those Sustainable Development Goals. The good thing is that, of course, tourism is one of the most transversal industries in the world. So when I talk about tourism, it's not only about sun and beach and about hospitality. It's, of course, about technology, it's about banking, it's about food and beverage, it's about transport, it's about travel, it's about, of course, infrastructure and construction. So the good thing is that because we have the most and the biggest transversal chain of any other economic sector, we have a golden opportunity once again, because every single solution that is developed, for example, for fintech, can be applied to the tourism sector. I give you an example: digital payments. In Africa, in regions as Africa, where you don't have a way to pay to a tour operator for an experience, it's a mess, because you cannot have a bag with thousands of national currencies in every single safari that you do. So if you're developing a fintech in Israel, I give you an example, you can scale up and you can, through tourism, to solve a gap that maybe in Israel is really modern, but in other regions of the world is not that modern. So what we have seen is that, of course, today, where we need to open the borders with responsibility again, and when we need more than ever, as Evantia was talking to us, to recover confidence and trust, of course, the first and the easiest vehicle is to use technology. We're working today with entrepreneurs from all around the world. Believe it or not, we have developed different global calls focused on health, smart destinations, sustainable development goals, etc. And today, for good or for bad, the pipeline of startups that are inside the UNWTO Innovation Network, believe it or not, are more than 10,000 entrepreneurs from more than 150 countries. It doesn't matter their stages. They are either early stages, seed stages, Series A stages, scale-ups. The good thing is they are trying to help to recover tourism, either by using cloud computing, machine learning, big data analytics, dashboards, virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things, that are of course the most used technologies in tourism. And this thing has been accelerated our technological path in the sector, because before COVID, we had those type of technologies and they were modern and they were useful for our sector. Today, it's not a nice to have. The good thing is that they are a must have. So the ones in a hotel or in a travel agency or in a traditional tour operator that we're thinking about developing digital transformation as a nice to have, I'm so sorry to say, but today is a must have. So the COVID at least have gave us the opportunity to accelerate digital transformation in a sector that has its ups and downs, because in some ways we are super technological, but in other ways we are still dinosaurs. So that's very important. So the challenge of using technologies as the first driver for sustainability, it was before COVID-19. The thing is that thanks to COVID-19, the technologies have been accelerated our path on digital transformation. Second thing, digital education. Why? Of course, this is not because I am a rocket scientist. You have seen how education has been transformed lives. And today, maybe the two more disruptive sectors are tourism by far and education, because of course, digital education is here to stay and it's a must. So that's why we decided to create, before COVID, the online academy, the Tourism Online Academy, that aims to be like a Coursera, but focused on tourism, bringing top universities from the world to upload content, to upload MOOCs, to upload open certificate programs in order, of course, to scale up the way people are educated, because of course, it doesn't matter if you're technological or not. The thing is that if you are not updated to serve in the tourism sector, it will happen what I am going to tell you. I don't know if you know, we are the top employer of the world of youth and women. Nonetheless, 50% of those only have secondary skills. So if we want to build a high-level economic sector, through digital education, we can expand, democratize, and massify the way we need people here and the way we need to educate people. So that's a second challenge that we have during COVID and before COVID. Once again, the thing is that it has been accelerated thanks to the pandemic. Third of all, where we are regarding green investments. And I love this because before COVID-19, once again, everyone was talking about green bonds, fintech green bonds, the Green Deal, etc. In tourism, more or less, it depends, of course, on the sustainability public policy of each country. But I have to say that today is mandatory. When I see the reports of venture capital investments of the tourism sector, I have to say that the last year it was record in the way we received venture capital investments in tourism. And this is really curious what I'm going to tell you. 50% of the top investors in tourism innovation are focused today in environmental, governance, and social impact ventures. So in times when you have to select well your money, because we are more risky than ever, if you pitch to an investor without any added value, developing green investment, sustainable investment, including communities, including disabled, being ethics with data treatment, organizing impact for everybody and thinking about the future, if you don't do that, I have to say that, of course, your project will be wonderful, but it will be tough to have different, of course, funding from different sides. I am an Eisenhower Fellow, so I am I am connected, of course, with the American venture capital ecosystem. And I have to tell you that during these weeks that I have been talking to investors in the US, where we have the more mature tourism innovation ecosystem of the world. And I will be, of course, super glad that someday all the countries can develop those type of corporate ventures as Amadeus develop, JetBlue Ventures, of course. We have a lot of ventures, but of course we are missing and we need more and more and more in emerging markets. But when you talk to investors in the US, they tell you, we are committed on tourism. The thing is that we need to see the payback on the impact of those technologies on the society. And if we feel that there's a strong impact and that it's not about corporate social responsibility or about only poetry, we can invest millions because the money is there. And my Israeli colleagues know this. Angel investment in Israel that is really mature regarding innovation, it's not 100K and that's it. It's millions and millions that a person can give to you if, of course, they feel comfortable with your project. So investments are here. We haven't seen a decrease of investments. Nonetheless, my feeling is that with the path of the months, the venture capital funds will need to focalize, of course, their budget in the more strategic projects. And today, where we have a climate change challenge, a tourism challenge on the recovery, and of course, seeking for a more sustainable development, more or the most number of traditional funds are turning around to those type of ventures. So of course, I have talked today about innovation, education, investments. Of course, we have more challenges. We have the challenge in the past of overbooking in Europe. Of course, today we don't have over tourism, but because we don't have tourism anymore. But I give you an example. 50% of the wastes in the Mediterranean were done only in 1 month of the year, that is August, that is summer in Europe. And thanks to technology, there are startups that are developing solutions because with that said, waste management administrations, dashboards to see how to develop the capacity of the different hotspots of the destinations are some of the trends that we have seen. And of course, thanks to that technological and talented, innovative minds, Amadeus and of course, different type of top corporates of the world have been developing these kind of ventures. So today, of course, I would like to leave you with a message that of course it's our responsibility, it's not the government's responsibility, it's not the UNWTO responsibility to recover the sector for good. If we want to develop a strong model of tourism now that we are starting again, because next year, for good or for bad, we will start again, it's in our hands to do the same thing that we were doing in the past, taking the same mistakes that we were doing in the past. That mistakes are good because mistakes are learnings for everybody. So it's in our hands if we want to do the same, or if we want to innovate, if we want to use technology as a key driver, if we want to do and develop corporate ventures to match make startup relations with corporate relations, it's in our hands to develop a more sustainable, technological, and inclusive sector. So I think that you all agree with me and that you all are committed on this. So count on me, count on the UNWTO on this venture. And I wish you all the best to all of you, to all the startups that are presenting today, because of course, I'll be glad to listen to you and to know more and to learn more about how you are connecting the dots between two amazing regions that are Israel and the Middle East. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Natalia. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the great input. As you all know, and as was already mentioned here, travel used to be a privilege. Travel used to be saved for the select few, especially international travel. Today, we live in a world where travel is a necessity, whether for work or whether for family. We have a lot of the families in the globe are living in different countries and different regions. So really travel became a main artery that is not just for leisure and fun, but for business and life and families. So I think that what this panel, this next panel of executives is going to talk about is exactly that, with the huge importance of travel in our life and with the great hit that just happened due to COVID-19. I will address two main questions to our panel of executives, and they will each represent their own perspective, whether it be OTAs or airports or airlines or hotels or investment funds. They're each going to bring their own point of view on the different topics. So the two main questions are essentially, what is the current main trend in the industry? How are you dealing with COVID-19? And the second question is, what is the top one or maximum two top technologies that your organization is on the lookout for? What do you need? What do you feel that you need right now in order to move forward, to break free and maximize your potential? So I will take the first question with your permission. I will address Dr. Isaac from Booking.com.
Hi, Or, hi everyone.
Isaac.
Great to be here. Thank you all, by the way, for reminding me how an airport looks like from the inside. It's nice to remember. Good choice. So for us in Booking.com, like everyone else, a very tough year. What we did recently, we ran our annual research to predict the unpredictable about travel trends. This year, obviously, it was much more interesting than ever before. So many question marks. We mined our own data to reveal the travel trends. So overall 20,000 users from 28 countries. That was the sample size, so quite wide. And the main theme, I guess, for all the trends, if there is one overarching theme, is we realize that people really want to reduce right now any risk perceptions they have about travel. They need things to make them feel more confident. I think Amadeus mentioned something very similar before. So it would be interesting to compare some of the results. I guess the main trend that I want to talk about, and I'll cover just three because I know we're short in time, is that travel planning is happening right now, and it's happening big time. So for everyone that says tourism is dead, think again. Our research shows that 95% of global travelers are spending time looking for holiday inspiration even during lockdowns. And 42% tell us they want to travel even more than they did pre-COVID to compensate for lost time. And that's amazing news, I think. And my key takeout for the industry is keep working on your annual plans. Don't just stop things thinking that only a vaccine will change things for the good. I have friends in the industry just waiting for the next step. There's no need to wait. Obviously, we need to adapt to the new reality, make some changes, big changes for sure. But demand is out there waiting to be captured. So keep working on your plans. That's the first and I guess most optimistic trend. The second one I want to emphasize, and I'm sure you'd all agree, technology as a confidence booster. 64% of users tells us that technology will be important in controlling health risks when traveling. For example, users tell us that they're excited about the possibility of having a holiday that is more tailor-made based on their preferences, and machine learning is, of course, doing exactly that. Now, Booking.com has been invested and working in machine learning for a long time before COVID. We have in Tel Aviv a very big machine learning team that analyzes reviews and user photos and sentiment and building personas, all in an effort to, going forward, propose products that are more tailor-made for everyone to experience the world. We will see much more of that in 2021. Another thing that users mentioned, virtual reality will become bigger. And that one is quite interesting. People tell us, if we are to choose a destination we haven't been to, it would be good to explore it through VR before we book a flight. Now, I remember VR before COVID, it used to be really more like a gimmick. I remember, you know, we've all been WTM, ITB. We all remember all the booths with the VR, you know, stands, just as a nice thing to have. But it feels like going forward, VR will get, let's say, will become more central to people's travel planning, and definitely worth to keep an eye on that. But let's keep the advanced technologies aside. Let's just focus on the basics. The majority of people tell us, please give us online check-in facilities. And the more I think about it, it's quite amazing when you realize that most hotels worldwide still don't have even that, although we're not talking about something completely new, just a very basic online check-in. The third trend I'll mention before Aura kicks me out is safety cleans up. That's how we call it. Basically, 70% of users tell us that they will only book a particular accommodation if it's clear what health and hygiene policies it has in place. And I'm not just talking about, you know, photos of how clean the room looks like or something like that. People really want to know what hygiene policies that are COVID related an accommodation place has in place. So for example, how many people are allowed in the gym, in the dining room, what kind of training the staff went through related to COVID, sanitation procedures. People want to see exactly that. And we have made it, Booking made it easier for properties to display their health and safety measures, and also created a special filter to narrow to properties that have these measures in place. More than 14 million properties have already implemented it, so that's amazing, and we will see the numbers go up. So all in all, I think we are equipped for 2021. It's going to be challenging, but again, demand is out there, and things will change for the good, and hopefully we will all enjoy a better year next year. Thanks all.
Thank you, Itzhak. This was a great preview and point of view, and we do have some technologies later on that we will see and hear that are very relevant to those properties that you mentioned. I would like to provide the same two questions and hear the point of view of Miri from Cockpit. So Miri, let's all try to keep it within the 4 minutes, maximum 5 minutes timeline.
We don't hear
Miri,
you.
I don't think we hear you. Let me just try to fix that. Okay, so just to continue, Miri will try to fix it. I will provide the stage for Granit while we work on.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And good morning to our US friends who join us as well. I heard we had a lot of from the US. You know, we're doing this digital conference and virtual conference, and actually we have also hospitality virtual standstill. Just want to say a few points of that so you will know and you will feel the Israeli market. So at the moment we're already on the second close down for the hotels, almost 2 months that the hotels in Israel are closed. And we still don't have the horizon where it will be open again. So it's a little bit challenging for everybody, both for the hotels and especially for us, the people who doesn't have any hotels to go to. But but I also, so I want to point on that, and it's still not clear where we're going, and the technology in Israel is as we all know, is very advanced, but we need two parties to shake hands on this, and it's very good that we have the incubators and the programs that offered here in this platform and everywhere, but on the other hand, we have the hotels, which also needs our help, the technology people, to help them get there. You mentioned we had the dinosaurs period, but it needs to be like working together to actually bring them first. So I would say the important things for the travelers and the trends, as it was mentioned before, it's all about trust and safety. But it's not only a matter of the safety of the hotel when they choose, it's also the safety of the country, if it's a green country or not, the safety of the area, how the people are behaving in those countries, if there are strict rules in the hotels, if it's in the shared area. You know, even me, when I went to a hotel in Israel, everybody looking right and left and see the procedures, the health procedures, the tools, how the team of the hotels are approaching the people, if they tell them to put a mask, to wash their hands. And in Israel, you know, every few months, we have all the news going to the hotels to check if the hotels are clean or not. So now it's even more than ever. So I know from our end, the hotels are doing the extra mile to work on it and to make the safety of the people to want to come back. The second point, which is very important, is the flexibility. You know, tourists now, they're waiting for not the last minute to order, but it's much shortened than before when they order a room, order a vacation. And they expect also flexibility in terms of free cancellation, adjusting dates. I don't know if one of the people supposed to come suddenly is ill. So hotels needs to be much more agile and much more flexible to obtain it, and it's involve good planning ahead. You know, only last week, the hotels in Israel, in Eilat and in the Dead Sea, they thought they would be opening, so they came and clean everything and open everything and brought the team, and then suddenly, no, we closed. So we need to have to support with technology, but also within processes, within the hotels, to support this type of scenarios and let the people prefer to travel with a lot of flexibility and to actually support it. In terms of technology, it's I think the most important is mobile first experience. It's something they already started before, but it's now we feel it more than ever. Hotels are in the prime position to leverage the power of personal devices and mobile apps, and it's playing right into the safe and clean environment that the hotels are wanting to create. And I have to say that in Israel, actually, we have a very good technologies company to support it, and slowly you can see the hotels in Israel obtain this first experience mobile. Now you expect for not only for a pre-ordering, online check-in, also communication with the customers in the hotel, also ordering food, ordering the spa, ordering the services. So I believe the hotels will embrace every solution that actually will help them digitalize either amenities or service. And I want to take the stage. Actually, we have people from around the world to mention a few very good startups in Israel that give support to it. We have the Easy Way, we have Wishbox, we have Tabit for the food, we have Check-in, which is an app for hotels. So on here, in the technology side, we were safe. The second point that I want to touch, which is a little bit further down the road, it's the touchless technology. We hear about Alexa, Siri, and this is actually a key part of this goal of social distancing and to eliminate the common hotel touch points. That's not a name I can respond to. You see, this is Alexa. Alexa heard me. I have Alexa in my house as well. So it's actually to eliminate the shared touches of places in the hotels, if it's the remote, if it's the echo, if it's the phone, and to use the touchless technologies. But I hope we will get there soon. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you very much, and I hope you come to visit us soon.
Thank you very much, Granit. I would like to extend the same two questions to Evan Reynov from Ariely Capital.
Thank you very much, Or. First, thank you to everyone, and thanks for taking the time to be here today and joining us and learning more about the future of travel and hospitality. It's truly a pleasure for us to be hosting this event today. We're honored to be joined by so many leading industry partners, such as Amadeus, who partnered with us on this event, and Natalia, who gave us a powerful keynote speech and correctly pointed out the amazing women on this panel, and it's something that you will always see at one of our events. I want to thank the other panel members and those participants that are joining us today for this great event, and of course, the great Ariely team that worked to ensure that we have an amazing, informative event today. A little bit about Ariely. As many of you know, Ariely Capital is a global venture capital holding company where we create and build technologies and companies across the full developmental life cycle of a technology, from ideation through our technology transfer company, working with colleges, hospitals, and research institutes, to ShareNet, our fintech platform, where today already over 450 family offices collaborate and co-invest together in an institutional environment. Through Ariely Capital's innovation platform, we're pleased to continuously be launching and building innovation centers across the globe with corporations, partners, municipalities, cities, governments that are all focused on areas such as travel, ag tech, and food tech, such as our Food Tech and Ag Tech Innovation Center, Amana Negev in Israel, shipping, deep sea, and smart cities, to name a few. Our innovation centers include accelerators, incubators, boot camps, pitch days, and tech transfer in order to create and build value in a region and in a sector. We're truly proud to be hosting this event today and announcing the launch of our Travel Tech Accelerator, so we can all play a part in helping rebuild such an important industry. With regard to the specific questions, it's very interesting. I think if you go back and you look at the main trends over the past few years, you're going to see those, big keywords, AR, VR, IoT. They were all there a few years ago. The real question is, what were they being used for? When you look, you'd see, why were we using, IoT? So we would focus on not losing a bag while we're traveling. When you look in 2019, you saw a trend trending towards personalization during travel and during your stay. And now you're seeing a shift, as everyone correctly points out, to safety and security. It's at the top of everyone's list. In the past years, you may have seen or found wearables down a list of trends in the travel industry, where now you can potentially find it near the top. So we're creating safety, security, and convenience. Today, we're seeing the use of robotics and AI to reduce contact, including contactless payments, which, as Natalia said, they were once a convenience in this industry, and now they are a necessity throughout travel and hospitality industries. Additionally, you're seeing cybersecurity, facial recognition, and IoT, so we can reduce time in lines and the potential exposure, which are of paramount importance. One example I want to give, one technology that we feel is critical to the future of travel, is one of our portfolio companies called SmartTag, which is a wearable contactless payment solution, obviously something that you are hearing over and over again. And what does it do? It enhances the customer experience in a COVID neutral environment that's being used in travel, hotels, resorts, theme parks, and stadiums throughout the world. One example of the important implementation is that we were contracted by the Bahamas to create a bubble so that visitors can come into the country, and from the moment passengers come off the plane, have as normal of an experience as possible in a contactless payment, COVID neutral environment where direct touch interaction never happens. This is so crucial and critical moving forward. 2020, I think, has certainly been extremely difficult and challenging year for many, and we wish for the continued health and success of everyone. Out of the challenging situations, the opportunity to innovate is certainly created. I want to thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to collaborating with all of you and to making a global difference. So really, thank you so much for being here. And with that, Or, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Evan. This is great. I would like to try to hear Miri again. Can we try? Are we? No? I can't hear it. Not yet. Okay, let's try again. And while we try again to fix this technical issue, let's move to Amer. If that's okay, would love to hear your opinion from Etihad Airways.
Thank you, Ariel. And listen, thank you very much for this evening. Assalamu alaikum, Shalom 20 here in the evening in Abu Dhabi in the UAE. I'm really pleased and proud to be part of the panelists this evening, and special thanks to Ariel Capital to have this forum and bringing everybody together. As you can imagine, myself working for Etihad Airways, the national carrier of the UAE, technology goes hand in hand with the airline industry, and it's at every touch point possible. If you see it from when you purchase a ticket, and you don't need to walk into a travel agency to do that. Now it's all online. Gone are the days even that you had to do it on a laptop or a PC. A mobile device now is probably the most best way. So innovation is key. It's so important to us as a young airline that we have our own dedicated innovation center here in Abu Dhabi, where we're looking at what the passenger or what the guest would want in 2, 5, or 7 years ahead. And of course, that's driven by how to make the whole journey, the whole booking journey, the whole flying journey as easy and as smooth as possible. And, it's true. I mean, right now, another thing I think that's really pushed forward now in 2020 with COVID and how more important technologies become for us. Travel hasn't stopped. Travel's reduced a lot at the moment, but it hasn't stopped. And I have to say, I completely agree with Isaac with regards to people are waiting. People are waiting to get back on the airplanes, back into the hotels, back on vacation, or back on visiting family and friends, or back traveling and meeting their corporate clients. Travel is never going to stop. It's just taken a pause or has taken a slowdown. We're seeing travel come back slowly. It's shorter haul at the moment. We're seeing a lot of staycations. Regionally, it's happening. The booking period, I agree, is much, much closer in than it was before. And, Evan talks a good point with regards how important health comes up as a point of importance today. Just to give you an example, we've taken that very serious at Etihad Airways, where we've introduced the wellness campaign. So on each of our aircraft, we have a wellness ambassador. That person or that cabin crew is dedicated to ensure that social distancing remains in place, all the SOPs that have been put in place by ATA and by our own civil aviation are adhered to. Everybody has to wear a mask except when they're eating. In fact, today, if you buy a ticket on Etihad Airways, the minute you check in, we give you free COVID insurance. That's in place. So it just tells you how important we've put health and safety and wellness as a priority because we need people back out there traveling. And I agree, as we go more and more forward, it is going to be about countless or touchless travel. It really is. I mean, I think when you purchase your ticket in a few years' time on your mobile app, you can already check in. You can already select your seat, select your food, pre-order your duty-free on your mobile app with us. You can have a boarding pass issued. You can go through the self check-in. Even the immigration is touchless now in Abu Dhabi. It's completely touchless, and I know it is in many countries. The first time you probably see anybody would be the cabin crew welcoming you on board an aircraft. But that's how far we've got already in terms of our technology in countless or touchless environment. We're taking that even further. We're working with a number of technology companies that look at when you check you in at airports. If you haven't checked in already on your mobile app, they can even detect your temperature and check certain points of, and that's in trial right now, in fact, at our airports in here in the UAE, where they're looking at if a passenger has COVID or has symptoms of COVID. That's in trial, but that's how serious we're taking technology. And I say again, I think technology and innovation with airline or air travel is interlinked, and it's very, very important. And we embrace it with a lot of enthusiasm. So I'm looking forward this evening to see or hear some from the startups this evening and see how they can really, bring an impact and make a change. But really pleased to be part of this panel, and I'm really glad. If it was a few months ago, this would have been impossible. And all I can say, I'm looking forward to coming to Tel Aviv myself very soon, and hoping to welcome all of you, my friends from Israel, to the UAE as well. So thank you very much, Oreo, and I look forward to hearing more this evening.
Meule, very good in Hebrew. So just wanted to say, these are the huge steps that we're talking about. It's a pleasure to hear you, and we're going to take you up on the invite, and we'll make sure to do amazing events and amazing part of the program as well in the UAE, and bring amazing startups and technologies. This is the bridge, connecting people through technology. It's only the natural thing. I would love to hear the perspective of Nicole from the Mirage Fund.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Great. So I would like to offer a different perspective as we look at tourism as a driver of economic growth. And as a philanthropic foundation, this is what we do. And one of the questions is what is the social, economic, and environmental footprint of the tourism industry in the communities where it operates? If we really see tourism as a key driver of economic growth, and now we're seeing the lack of it and what it does to some of our communities who are really suffering at the moment, and the potential of one day opening our skies again and having visitors flocking, and how do we do this in a sustainable way? There's something very interesting about what's happening with Corona that I think there's some lessons and trends that we can take into account as we start thinking about closing inequality gaps. And there are two main trends that we're seeing. One is staycations, people beginning to travel and discover their own backyards, their own countries to visit. And the other one is what I call green vacations, people looking for open fields, organic, healthy, less crowded, understanding where the food is coming from. And if you think about those two things together, there's a huge opportunity that I think we should really not underestimate it, which is think about the impact of urban middle class starting to go out to the periphery, to the countryside, to explore their own countries, and opportunity to distribute wealth and develop high-level tourism experiences in those areas that are often overlooked or marginalized. And it's also an opportunity to strengthen the countryside, because usually if we're looking about staycations and green vacations, we're talking about agriculture, or we're talking about countryside. And as a Colombian who lives in Israel, I can try to bring some of the lessons from Colombia when Colombia understood the power of coffee. And how do you turn coffee into a tourism experience? And what it started in a very marginalized region, which ultimately became a huge economic driver of the entire country. So what we did with the Mirage Foundation in Israel. Our mandate with the Mirage Foundation is to develop the Negev region, where Arieli Capital has one of their innovation centers. And it's a very interesting case study that I think has implications around the world, because think of it this way. The Negev region, which is mainly desert, is 60% of the national territory, but it's only 10% of the population. And most of the people there, or most of the cities in the Negev region, unfortunately have low socioeconomic status. So what happened with Corona? This summer, the Negev region received the highest number of visitors ever in the summer, because nobody really wants to go to the desert in the summer, and Israelis certainly look for opportunities to escape to Greece or Cyprus, hopefully soon to Dubai. But this year they had no choice, and they went to the Negev region and they started discovering local women who are producing, catering local produce, or visiting the local farmers, or visiting the Bedouin community. And these are wonderful bridges that, if we think about the long term, how can we strengthen those products, tourism products, so that eventually it will not only be the local tourists visiting, but also international tourists with a higher standard. So that's what we're doing with our foundation in the Negev. And when we started thinking about what are the assets in our case, we have the desert and we have agriculture, and we realized that there's a huge opportunity for agri-tourism. And if you drill down even deeper, if you think about the millennial tradition of harvesting wine in the desert, and the powerful experience of seeing, I just came today from visiting a few vineyards in the desert. There's nothing more beautiful than that, seeing a sunset in the middle of the desert and then having, you know, the vineyards there. So what if you turn that into an international agri-tourism wine destination? You know, if you think about California, obviously this won't be as near as in California, but in California is a $2 billion industry that contributes to the American economy. So these are the things that we're looking for as a foundation. And when we think about what technologies we would like to see out there, it's precisely technologies that start thinking about what are the local assets that a community has, what are those small businesses, those women-led initiatives that don't really have access to large marketing platforms, but are ultimately your best kept secrets in your local tourism experience. So thinking about how do you incorporate some of those small businesses, give them a platform, think about collective participation, and thinking about regional products and not just one vineyard in the case of wine, one vineyard here, one restaurant here. How can we really bring about platforms that provide a good image of what's the regional package that it offers? Those are the things that I think ultimately will definitely benefit tourists, but also the local economy.
Okay, thank you very much. Great tourism in the desert. As you know, Arieli leads the Innovation Center in Ramat HaNegev, which is the largest innovation center for desert agriculture. And I have to tell you, if you haven't tasted the Ramat HaNegev wine, you haven't tasted good wines. So go do it. I would like to invite Tomer from Facebook, head of travel in Facebook Israel, to provide his perspective, which is something that I was really looking forward to hear as well.
Thanks, Or. Hi, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Depends on where you are right now. I hope you can hear me well. My name is Tomer, and I'm leading the travel vertical for Facebook Israel, meaning me and my team, we work with travel enterprises on their go-to-market strategies, digital transformation, acquisition strategies, so on. So obviously, sorry. I'll be taking the business angle of the discussion, focusing on sales and marketing and service trends and technologies as we identify them in market. Obviously, I also work with my colleagues elsewhere in Europe, Middle East, Africa. We have a large team in Dubai as well, whom we work with extremely closely with. So the things I'm going to share are representing both my experience as well as my colleagues. And I think we're witnessing a similar trend all over the world in that sense. So Obviously, this is an extremely difficult period for the industry, no matter whether you are an airline, hospitality company, OTA, etc. So I would say that everything I'm referring to, we should take it with a grain of salt in the sense that we'll probably see things ramping up back again only in a few months, right? So in the upcoming few months, my best estimation is that everyone would probably be kind of opportunistic, trying to pick up again the business, but still we are witnessing some super interesting discussions looking forward. I think that the first one is drill downing into the true value of consumers, okay, or the true value of users. And when you're looking at acquisition of travel companies globally, it's always the classic debate or dilemma between the distribution channels and direct sales channels. And in that sense, I think that, again, short term, everyone will take whatever they can, will pick it up from the floor, right? But looking forward, it's going to be a much more complex discussion, anything from measuring the unit economics more accurately and connecting it directly to the marketing efforts or sales efforts. And the way to do that is normally that would be sort of an internal discussion inside those organizations. What we're starting to see is actually connecting the pipes, meaning those automation integrations of APIs between, you know, anything from revenue management function, which is a very specific part of the business, to the marketing, which is a separate part of the business. They always used to talk, right? That's not a new thing, but they were never really connected into the same systems, and it wasn't really reflected into the acquisition or the marketing efforts. I think that the second part of that would be the retention aspects and lifetime value of customers. Okay, it's always easier to retain a customer than acquiring a new one. Okay, and I think Booking.com is probably the best and most advanced player in that sense globally. And yet, when you are looking for growth, you would always look for new customers. So for those cross-border players, that would probably be a major effort in that sense as well. And I think the last part of that is lifetime value of customers, right? So when you look at the unit of economics of a specific transaction, you always look at the tactical metrics of return on ad spend or cost per acquisition. But when looking at a more long-term effort, lifetime value would probably be key in that sense. Last part is efficiencies, okay? So not everything is around growth. Everyone is looking at becoming more efficient these days. When looking at efficiencies in our field, right, of marketing and service and sales, I think we're seeing a few interesting trends and technologies. One is everything around multi-touch attribution. For the ones of you who are dealing with acquisition and marketing and sales, this is a huge pain point for the industry, especially when looking at different sales channels, you know, web versus apps, iOS 14 from Apple versus, you know, cookies which are going to become less and less frequent in the upcoming couple of years, and messaging over phone calls, right? That's always a more efficient way to provide customer service. So only over the past 3-4 months during COVID, we've seen a few major airlines and hospitality businesses starting to work with the WhatsApp API as well, trying to provide a more automated customer journey throughout the process. So, you know, this is my angle. I think it's going to be there's going to be a big change in the industry in the upcoming probably 6 to 12 months. But again, it's only after we can get back to some sort of a normal state of mind. And for now, it's still a very much touch and go type of game. That's it from my side, guys.
Okay, thank you, Tomer. Definitely important to hear. I would like to extend the same questions and hear the perspective of the Barcelona Hotels Association from Javier. Can you hear us, Javier?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Or. Thank you for inviting me. Hola a todos. Hi from Barcelona. I'm the last one talking on the hospitality sector, so many spoilers has been done by Granit, by Isaac, by Tomer. So I was hoping, please shut up. I want to resign. But anyway, I came here to try to plant the seed I've been growing in different events. So who are we targeting now, Tomer? That you've seen, you're talking about acquisition users. Who are we targeting now? Millennials, Generation X, Generation Y? Who? So I've created with different people, I've been talking, we've created this word called pandemial. So the moment everyone is a pandemial, I'm a pandemial, my dad is a pandemial. So we are looking for these people that they are now into their smartphone. They are always plugged to the smartphones, to new technologies. And I always use the same example. My dad, before, he never used a smartphone. You know, he's always with his smartphone. He goes to the restaurant, he scans the QR code, he looks to the menu, he texts, he watches with his brothers, and etc. And those are the pandemials. So we have to look for them. And what are they looking for? You already said it, like Evantia was the first one. She was talking about the trust and the confidence on the health topic, sorry. And we have to be straight on that. So in hotels in Barcelona, the trends now are, of course, all the contactless procedures. So the online check-ins are in trend. Every single hotel in Barcelona, they are looking for an online check-in. So Israel startups here, and also Spanish ones that we already know, and they're here as well, work on online check-in procedures. We are very jealous of airlines because you have like really good procedures for those contactless methods. Then also the digital payments are very on trend now. So all the contactless, as you mentioned before with the bracelets, whatever, it's also in trend in the city. And then as well, of course, all the contactless methods, talking to the communication tools like WhatsApp with reception. And when I say WhatsApp, I mean WhatsApp Messenger, whatever. So people, they try to avoid this face-to-face contact, which is really a pity, because for us, for hospitality, what it makes the best of our hotels is this face-to-face relation with the reception, with concierge, with whatever. But anyway, we have to adapt. Those pandemials are looking for these technologies, and we have to give it to them at the moment. In the future, for sure, we're gonna get these people back. We're gonna get, again, this face-to-face, and then we wanna work on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Javier. I would like to hear the perspective from Raquel, the Innovation Partnership Manager at Amadeus. Hi, Raquel.
Thank you. So I'm one of the last ones. So I believe like with these amazing panelists, most of the topics have been covered. So I think I would like to summarize from with a positive point of view, everything that has been said, no? And what has been the positive impact of COVID, if we can highlight some of them. So I think we've seen that some of the trends that are not directly related to COVID are still there. We've talked about sustainability, we've talked about the empowerment of local communities, and those are things that despite of having a big worriness at a worldwide level, people still believe that sustainability will be a major issue, and they're even like travelers saying that they're going to be even more worried about what's the impact of my travel once they go back to travel. The second one, I think, is the acceleration of technologies. And I think the speed of change that we've seen is something extremely positive, because we've seen a huge acceleration of technologies that will be used, of course, to bring travel back to normal levels, but also we will use those technologies and those changes once COVID-19 is over, no? And I've seen on the chat someone was asking, what about post-COVID-19 technologies? And I think these biometrics that we've mentioned, these crowd management solutions, these health tech solutions that are brought to travel will still be there. Maybe it's not for a COVID-19 per use, but I'm sure we will take advantage in the future. And the last one, and I briefly mentioned before, is I think the combination that was a bit disconnected before of the health tech solutions and travel. I think we were a bit far from that area, and Israel is an amazing country for those solutions, but maybe we hadn't seen a big application into travel. So right now, again, we're seeing all of these just for COVID-19 testers, but in the future would be about connecting governments to travel agencies, to any travel player that would need health information and health technology and solutions in order to improve the travel journey. So those are the main positive effects of COVID that I've seen. And in terms of a trend that I would like to highlight is the power of data. Amadeus, one of the biggest assets that we have is data. So in the end, I think this opportunity will give us a different way of exchanging data for a good purpose, no? For bringing travel back to normal. We need to break the silos that sometimes the industry is working in this mode where airlines are just for airlines, airports are just for airports, and so on. And now more than ever, we need to be able to exchange this data with governments, with hotels, with airlines along all the travel journey to make sure that we remove friction, because we cannot forget that even if we have new processes, we still have to have the traveler at the top of our mind to make sure that they can come back to travel, but we don't add new hassles to their journey. So that would be my summary and takeaways.
Thank you very much, Raquel.
You're welcome.
I would like to move to the perspective of cockpit innovation. Let's try Miri again.
Hi, Or. Can you hear me this time?
Okay, we hear Miri.
Perfect.
All right, everyone.
Wow, I'm so sorry for that. So thank you,
That's
and happy
okay.
to be here. So again, I think that many of my colleagues have spoken and shared some meaningful insights. So maybe I'll try to, take it from a different angle, maybe to add a different flavor. So obviously, yes, confident travel is the most important trend, and we're all exploring solutions to gain back customers' trust. But if you put that aside, there are maybe two other aspects that's worthwhile talking about. One of them is operational efficiency. Obviously, airlines have suffered a lot of damage during this time, and operational efficiency is now a must. So we are exploring solutions at the time and trying to leverage this period to kind of sort solution to meaningful operational efficiencies. For example, one of them is an AI video analytics tool company that improves turnaround management process. So every minute the aircraft is not on the ground is a huge saving. The other aspect and upside is kind of to improve customer service and to kind of meet time schedule. So this is one thing that one example, but one aspect that we're exploring, and I think that it's very critical this time. And maybe the other one is that we've learned, we kind of dealt with that before, but nowadays it's even more important, is basically disruption. So we're living in an uncertain world, and obviously we understand that future kind of predicts some uncertainties. And I think airlines are having some problems dealing with this uncertainty, time schedule, and management. So one of the things that it was mentioned before, that revenue management is an important aspect. So I think that on one hand, airlines are looking for new revenue management models, and at the same time to provide customers with a more digital disruptive solution. So that's also a very important aspect in order to kind of lift back the business. So that we relate to maybe trends, and maybe just kind of on a personal note, so some kind of optimistic things that can happen during this period. So I can share that I do see from our portfolio companies some very inspiring and encouraging activities to leverage and to kind of gain some upside from this period. And we do have two companies that were able to kind of execute some promising activities. One of them, an OTA platform that recognized an amazing opportunity and purchased a competitor that obviously due to COVID situation got into financial difficulties, and they've merged, and currently their growth has been accelerated by hundreds times. So that's quite encouraging. So there are some opportunities out there. And maybe another example, a lot of been spoken here about digital acceleration. So we do have another company that is a platform to sell and buy aircraft parts. So basically, they accelerated themselves in the industry, and their traffic expanded by 8x during this time. They were able to educate the industry that it's the only probably channel to keep on continue the commerce activities. So I think that there are some still upsides and optimistic side of that. And we're hoping to see some more stories like that.
Thank you, Miri, and thank you for not giving up. and keep at it until we got it. Last but definitely not least, I would like to hear the perspective from our very close partners and our hosts for tonight at this beautiful location, which, by the way, if none of you have visited, I think it's truly a magnificent structure designed in the spirit of the desert with amazing views for the departing travelers and the arriving travelers. So I think amazing structure, amazing asset and property, which obviously I'm talking about the New Ramon Airport in the southern part of Israel. And with that, I would like to hear the perspective from Michael from the Israel Airports Authority.
Well, hello everyone. Happy to participate. I'm responsible for the IT in the Israeli Airport Authority. I'm responsible for Ben Gurion Airport, International Airport, and Ramon International Airport. From airport perspective, we have two, let's say, opposite trends. The first one is the rise of the need to ensure the health of the traveler. Many of you talked about it, ensuring their health and their feeling safe in the airport, in the airplane. And you know, until now, safety, avoiding collisions, and security were the #1 priority of airports. Now it is the health of the passengers that was added to this #1 priority. But the opposite trend is that we have a very sharp decline in incomes. Almost all of our income comes from passengers. And we, here in Ben Gurion International Airport, we have 95% decline in the number of passengers. So the money we have, we prioritize this for maintenance, electricity, water, salaries, and we can't afford expensive, big projects for, I think, a year or 2 years. So we are looking for innovative ideas, simple, practical things in order to help us. And regarding the health, I'm proud to say that 2 days ago, we have inaugurated a corona test lab here in Ben Gurion Airport, and it will start working in a few days, and it will provide very cheap tests, like $13 for travelers that go in and out of Israel, and this will, I think, will boost the confidence of the passengers. Ensuring the health of our passengers translates, of course, to hygiene facilities and clean environment. But from technology perspective, I'm looking to a seamless and contactless passenger journey. And we look for techniques that will help us to do it. There is a big rise in biometrics, most of it face recognition. This is a great help for moving very fast in the airport. And I think another technology that will rise is apps that will serve as digital assistants, so that when you stay in the airport, it will help you go through the path until the gate. And I'm talking not only of wayfinding, but assisting you in all the checkpoints and immigration and things like this. And it will present all the necessary documents and all the right things. So it will help the passenger move quickly. I think it will be, all those techniques will be great for COVID, but after COVID will end, this will help us to be more efficient in the airport. And so those techniques, if we invest in them, they won't disappear in 2 or 3 years from now. So this is my point of view. I hope we will have a better 2021, and my first priority is to visit the UAE.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We wrapped up the panel discussion part of the event, which is, I believe that by now very, very clear, was a complete powerhouse of amazing perspectives from funds, investors, social networks, airports, airlines, hotels, OTAs, and more. And I think that at the end of the day, when you put it all together, you cannot get a better perspective of the tourism industry all in all. And now we're going into the startup stage. This is going to be a very flash presentations, okay? So it's up to 2 minutes each, and we will stop you if you go over. We're apologizing for that in advance. So up to 2 minutes each, and in the order that I will mention now, judges, which is the panel we just heard, I'm asking you to listen carefully, think about each startup, and at the end of the presentations, you will be asked to vote the way that you were instructed for the winning startup. Only write the number of the winning startup from your perspective. You can only choose one, all right? The first startup is InnovHealth, which will present a cloud-based international healthcare passport for travelers. The second startup that will present is Achilles, which is presenting a digital, keyless, touchless entry solution. The third startup that will present is Fourth Code, presenting technology solution for maximizing and optimizing airline and airport onboarding process solution. And the fourth and last startup is Access Travel, presenting a seamless travel booking engine with focus on accessibility. These are the 4 startups. So, and that's the order, and that's also the name, the numbers, sorry, that you will vote by, okay? So the first startup, InnovHealth, are you ready?
I am.
Good, all right. So we're timing you. Whenever you're ready, you can start. And thank you for doing that.
Can you see my screen? Okay, greetings. I'm Olivier Deland, the Chief People Officer at InnovHealth. Let me introduce you to our company. Our founder and CEO, Adnan El-Bakri, is a physician and researcher in artificial intelligence applied to health. Based on his observation, the accumulated knowledge about population health is massively wasted and remains untapped by healthcare system. Therefore, he created PassCare, the first interactive health passport that belongs to people, patients, and citizens, and only to them. I can travel globally with my PassCare, and I decide with whom I share my data in complete trust and total safety for my health data. It is an innovative and scalable technology, and it is now ready to be deployed. PassCare is a B2B2C business model that allows us to work with insurers, private companies, government, airlines, and clinics. Our technology is a powerful prevention and securing health passport that can be easily linked with any digital identity, boarding passes, frequent flyer programs. PassCare is a key component to boost health safety in the tourism industry. It applies, of course, to COVID-19, but also to any health threat or emergency. PassCare is global by design. It covers many different areas in the passenger's journey, from home when booking flights to the airport until arrival at destinations and up to their stay abroad. The beauty and power of our technology is its native compatibility with any medical software in the world. PassCare is a sustainable approach to permanently ensure safety for travelers, for airport ground staff or flight crews, and restore confidence in the tourism industry. Thank you, take care, and choose PassCare.
Great ending. Thank you very much. Actually, right on time as well. So added points for that. Please, everyone from our judges panel, take a second, think about it, okay? And process the materials you saw. If you have any thoughts or anything, please write them down. The next one is going to be Achilles, who's already ready, I see.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So whenever you're ready, we are ready.
Great. So Earth's surface doesn't grow. World's population, on the other hand, doesn't stop to doing it. If we add to this fact the continuous migration of certain segment of the population to large cities and the millennials that are the future users, we can easily realize that there is only two solutions for this problem. Either we colonize another planet, for what there is other people and companies working on it, or we just share the limited space we have on Earth. And we have a relevant role in this latest solution. We have suffered a really important digitalization on many sectors that have changed different habits that were analog, annoying, and inefficient. For example, PayPal regarding the use of cash, or WhatsApp regarding the way we communicate with each other. No? And this is really important because we haven't seen this digitalization on big real estate companies such as hotels, co-living, short-term rental companies, in which they continue to use keys or access cards for their daily operations. Physical elements that can be lost, that can be copied, that cannot be traced, and cannot be easily and cheaply invalidated either. So Achilles allows owners and managers of spaces an scalable, efficient, and secure management of every access permission related to a set of assets geographically dispersed, allowing its users to open with their own smartphone. In other words, cost saving, scalability, and efficiency for our customers. And to do so, we install devices on your spaces, and we put at your disposal our admin panel, from where you will be able to create as many virtual keys as you want, modify temporality and location attributes, and share it with your users in a really simple way via email or a link via WhatsApp or any other channel that you may choose. And in addition to this, as owners and managers, we allow via our platform to control at any time who, when, and from where is accessing, and you will be able to revoke the access with just one click. All of this, it's based on a subscription-based model and with a direct contact between Achilles and the customer, no distribution channel. That's it. Thank you very much for your attention, and welcome to Achilles.
Thank you very much. That was a great presentation, also on time. So added points to Achilles as well for that. We're ready with fourth code. Again, judges, take your time for a second to write down your thoughts about Achilles touchless entry solution to properties. Fourth code, are you ready? You're on mute. Now you're okay, let's hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Okay. Yeah, we see and we can hear you.
Yes, so I'm Ajit Balakumar. founder and CEO of Fourth Code Technologies. Our product Engo is a platform to enhance airline ancillary business. Engo caters to airlines or airlines catering partners, airlines duty-free partners, or SSR sales in airport. For the last decade, airlines are focusing on boosting ancillary sales, but due to pandemic, ancillary business become more relevant. Now, next generation ancillary business is about selling more than F&B or merchandise on board. It's about catering a platform, creating a platform to sell anything on board. Just like Nicole was referring to the regional product and packaging. So we believe in creating a platform which will optimize wastage and pilferage, system to estimating uplift in each aircraft to optimize inventory. So Engo is known for faster implementation. We can do a basic implementation in less than 15 days, saving valuable time for airline top management. We believe increasing revenue. According to McKinsey, it can go up to 30%. So Engo is not just for a budget airline. It is designed to handle full service airlines as well. We have a strong partner ecosystem. If you talk about in-flight entertainment, we have partners, revenue optimization, we have partner, cost-effective distribution, we have partners. We really focus on return on investment because we believe that customers right now doesn't have a lot of capex to invest. We started in 2019 December. We already have 2 clients now. We have a strong pipeline of 7 clients in the market. Engo is a platform to manage ancillary business end-to-end and to open new revenue streams for airlines. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Fourth Code, that's startup number 3 for you judges. And we are moving to Access Travels. Access Travels?
Yes, I'm here.
Ready? All right, so we're ready for you.
Just a second. Hello, my name is Damir Miller. At the age of 21, after surgery, I found myself bound to a wheelchair. At the age of 39, I found my friend and travel companion, and we flew together to our first journey. After this trip, we got married. I started traveling independently again, but why for over 17 years I didn't travel? After research with a community of 5,000 people with disabilities, we discovered 2 main reasons. First, lack of reliable information about accessible travel in one place. Second, psychological and physical barriers. Our solution is a community-based web platform where everybody can become local guide, travel companion, can simply find, book, and review accessible accommodations, travel attractions, and can help each other to start travel again. We found a very good way how to collect the information about hotels and attractions, accessibility and safety, and we can improve the booking process with more than 11% of new travel market, inclusive travel market. Our business model, we provided data about accessibility for our strategic partners, and we also work to B2C and business to government. Our team, half of our team, people with disabilities that's really motivated and really know the problem of the inclusive travel. We have very talented developers team, Alexey Bычkov, Nikolai Lavrinovich, Valentina Yashchenko, Dmitry Kulik, and I also have an experience in software development, a certified travel advisor. Thank you very much for inviting us to this wonderful event, and thank you very much for organizers. That's all, finished.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you very much for the 4 startups. For you, the panel of judges, I'm reminding you, the first startup, number 1, was InnovHealth, the cloud-based international healthcare passport. That's startup number 1. Number 2 is Achilles, a digital keyless touchless entry solution to properties. Number 3, Fourth Code, technology solution for airport and airline onboarding process. And number 4 was Access Travels, the booking engine focusing on accessibility. So take a second and please vote. We are tracking the chat for your vote. And very, very soon, we'll let you know who is the winning startup. All right, guys. So I told you there'll be surprises. I hope you're all in great suspense because we have a tie between InnovHealth and Access Travels. So I want the judges to rethink everything. Now we're choosing only between InnovHealth, the cloud-based healthcare passport, to number 4, Access Travels, the booking engine for accessibility. Think between those two and please vote either 1 or 4. All right, so we have the final solution and answer, which is number 1, InnovHealth, the cloud-based international healthcare passport. We looked for the effect of confetti, but Zoom doesn't have it. So imagine confetti coming, from the top. So let me tell you what InnovHealth just received. InnovHealth will jump directly into the Onboard international scale-up program led by Arieli and these amazing partners to grow technology companies for travel. This is not the end for the rest of the startups. By the way, the registration for startups from around the world is still open. So startups are still signing up from around the world. You saw an amazing panel today from over 4 countries. The startups that presented today are from France, Spain, Israel, India, Netherlands. So amazing example, I think, not just for technologies, but international representation. So the registration will continue. It will end in mid-December when we will choose the final 10 startups that will enter Onboard scale-up program. So there's many, many more surprises and news and events coming up. I want to thank several very, very important people that helped to make this event and add a lot of value to the program. Dominate, which is an amazing company led by Tom and Dom from New York and Arieli Capital, adding a lot of amazing tools, digital services for companies. Thank you very much for supporting and adding a lot of value still to come into the Onboard program. Thank you, Amadeus, these amazing teams. There's so many people from Amadeus that worked with us. I don't know where to start, but I can tell you that there's one guy, in the beginning we talked about him, whose name is also Guy, that really, really worked with us hand in hand, and the entire Amadeus team. Thank you, Evantia, and everyone else. Really, you're amazing. And also the Airports Authority, thank you very much for hosting. Thank you for adding the value. And we're looking forward to creating value to all the amazing partners, Amadeus and Booking and Facebook, Etihad Airways, Mirage Fund, Israel Hotel Association, Israel Airports Authority, Cockpit, thank you. And obviously the Barcelona Hotels Association. We also have amazing other partners that couldn't arrive today, including Microsoft, and many amazing partners. So we'll use this last few seconds just to really send best thoughts and wishes and energies to a world that is right now at a really tough point. There are amazing people in this industry that create jobs, that create fun, and create hope for us. We all know that while we go to work, we're all waiting for our next vacation. We're all waiting for our next travel destination. We're all dreaming about it. It's like little points of light in our life, and we're waiting for it, and it gives us hope, and we're looking forward to something. And right now, it's been taken away from us, but I'll tell you something. Humanity is strong, and we look at the half glass full, and we're looking forward to the future. And when the travel industry reopens, we will, I believe, just like we heard from this great panel, we will experience growth like nothing before. We're full of hope. We're sending our strength to everyone in this industry, and through technology and through international collaborations, borderless international collaboration, we will win this thing, and we will launch a way better future than it was even before. So thank you for everyone, because you're all part of the solution. So thank you very much. And with these thoughts sent to everyone in the world, thank you very much for this beautiful, professional, and historic event. And we will stay in touch with everyone about the launch of Onboard early 2021. Thank you. Have a great night. Have a great day. And take care, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.